Welcome back. Let's now learn about a new feature of objects and also of arrays called optional chaining. Now let's say that we wanted to get the opening hours of our restaurant on Monday. So for that, write console.log restaurant opening hours. What we need for Monday. So then here this property does not exist. So let's see here the result. It is undefined because we didn't have this property. So, but let's pretend that whether the particular restaurant opens or not. We actually want to know exactly the hour on which the restaurant opens on Monday. So, for that, here write the dot open. We need that when it is open or not. So here we get an error. Let's see. Here we got an error because here this is doesn't exist means this is undefined. Undefined plus dot open means this is an error. In order to avoid this error, we will first have to check if this here exists. So for that I am using here if statement. If restaurant dot opening hours dot Monday. If this is exist means then print. So now let's say this for Friday because we have that Friday. Copy, paste and then change it to Friday. Let's see here the result. Here it displayed 11. This is from 70 for Friday. So this is for Friday's opening hour. And we don't have this property. So now let's focus on this Monday. We don't need this Friday now. Here this is checking just for one property. Imagine that opening hours here would also be optional, or in other words that maybe restaurant object can also not have opening hours. Here in this case we need to check both. So for that write if restaurant dot opening hours. I am using here the and restaurant dot opening hours. Dot If we have this restaurant dot opening hours, then unlock the opening hours to the console. Right? Console dot log. Dot then dot a dot open. Now here we didn't get anything. Here to get rid of this, we have ES 2020 feature called optional chaining. If a certain property does not exist, then undefined is returned immediately. And then we got an error also here. We saw in the before. Let's recreate with optional chaining. Optional chaining. Let's write here console.log restaurant for opening hours then dot Monday Then now we need to place the optional chaining sign, that is question mark and then dot. Now write open. So here is how optional chaining works. So only if the property that is before this question mark here, so only if Monday exists, then this open property will be read from there. So if it is does not exist means it will return the undefined. And here it is exist means this is a nullish concept. That means that if a property exists, if it is not null and also not defined. Sorry, not undefined. So if it is 0 or the empty string, then it still exists. Now let's reload. Here we get an undefined because it does not exist. And then now here copy and then paste. Let's see that. Remove the question mark. Then see we got an error because all of this here is undefined. And then we read open here from undefined. But here the next operation of trying to read open only happens if all of this here actually exist. Only if it is not null and not undefined. But if it is undefined or null, then the result will be undefined immediately. Now let's place this in comments. Let's see here. We get an undefined. We can have here multiple optional chainings. Let's basically recreate what we have here in this example. So here we are testing for both opening hours and for Monday. These are essentially the two optional properties that we do not know. So Monday is optional, so that's why we have here this question mark. Now we can do the same for opening hours also. So here if restaurant dot opening hours will not exist means then Monday property will not be even be readed. Let's write for opening hours also. Here write the question mark for opening hours, optional chaining mark. Now let's see an example that giving this and then paste here. Example, paste, then giving this right for loop today for a loop of days. And console.log. Let's see the result. Here it has displayed all the days. Let's now write some code for each of these days. Storing opening hours day. Remember that here we can't write like this. If we want to write variable name as a property name, we need to use the bracket notation. So let's write that. Now let's write the optional chaining and then open. Now I want to store this in const open that is equal. Let's log this into console. Okay. like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We open it and then give open. Let's reload. You see it displayed that on Monday we open it undefined. That means we don't give any time. And on Friday at 12 and then Saturday at 11. Let's reload and see. We have here the opening hours. These Thursday and Friday are actually available here in this object. These 11 and now let's set as default closed. Let's reload. See, it is working now, but we have a problem here that on Saturday it is showing that it was closed. So here in this example, we see that the Saturday, this is the one that it opens at 0. So it means that 0 is a falsy value, and so therefore it will then trigger this second part. So to get rid of this, use here nullish operator. Let's see the result reload. So this is the usage of nullish operator. It is displayed 0 and for this we have given that here the option. Here in this we have optional chaining operator and also nullish operator. These two are working together. Now let's go to methods. How it works on methods. Here optional chaining is also work for calling methods. We can check that if a method actually exists before we call it. That's right. So long store. Then we have to use the question mark, then dot. And if it does not exist, now if it is exist here, then we can call it. So let's pass here just a 0, then 1. Then use here the nullish operator, question mark. And then if it is does not exist means right here method does not exist. Here see the result. We have the method here so that we can expect the result. Let's try for another one. Here right. Now let's reload. Here it is that method does not exist because we don't have that method here. So that's why it is displayed method does not exist. Basically here this optional chaining operator verifies that order risotto method is he actually exist or not. If it is not means it will remain immediate. So here the all these statements is undefined. Further here the nullish coalescing operator verifies that this is undefined means it will go to the next operand, that is method does not exist. Now we have another one that is optional chaining works on arrays also. Let's see that. Basically here we can use it to check if an array is empty. Now let's write an array of users. Users and giving the name, then email, Let's use this. Here to get the name of the first element of this array, let's write the console dot users of 0th element only if it exists. But now here the optional array checks the optional chaining checks the array, that is we have this name or not. Then this nullish coercion operator, right? User. Now let's see the result. It is name. It exists to display the name. Now see another example that plays this in context. So, and let's see the result. It uses an if statement. Source dot line is greater than 0, then console dot log users of 0, and name else console dot log users array. Let's see the result. When I draw it here plus value, here at the users have for right these elements. Now let's see the result. See here it displayed the name player. In these both cases, here we have used that these two operators together with nullish coalescing operator and also this optional chaining operator, so that we can do something. In case we don't get a result from the object or from the array, here is on the left hand side. So this is all about the optional chaining. We'll see you in the next lecture. Thank you.